The Roy Hart Centre archives trace a very unusual and exceptional story of Alfred Wolfsohn and his pioneering work on the human voice, his student Roy Hart, who in turn used that work particularly in theatre, but also in musical theatre, and created a theatre company with his name, Roy Hart Theatre, which in turn created a number of shows over a 22-year period that became particularly well known in Europe and in Latin America. This company, Roy Hart's work and Alfred Wolfsohn before him, these are all documented in the Roy Hart Centre archives, as are the continuing work of the Roy Hart Centre from 1991 onwards to the present day, hosting conferences, festivals, and many other events. These archives are priceless because they trace a very unusual journey. They contain both written archives, but also programs, letters, photos, thousands and thousands of photos, 600 old-fashioned spools of recordings, and of course some films, more from the present day and very few from the past. These archives need to be both restored and we need to protect them, which means basically scanning them. We need to scan and make a digital copy of all that exists in these archives. And this is the only way we can be sure that they will be preserved. This work has been the object of a grant demand to the Minister of Culture in Occitanie, France, and who have generously given us a donation, or a grant rather, that will cover a third roughly of the cost. We need to find the other 2/3. The Roy Hart Centre and the Fonds de Dotation, Malirag, are also contributing, but we still have a shortfall. And we are asking for your support to make this unique adventure possible so that before the end of 2024, these archives will be available virtually through a dedicated website enabling anyone throughout the world, students, teachers, anyone interested in the voice, artists of all kinds, to be able to access these, the database of these archives, and also enter into interactive relationship with people from the Roy Hart Centre through webinars and other means to ensure that the archives are not a museum, but are a living part of the heritage of the Roy Hart Centre. Another aspect that will be available online will be extracts from Ivan Midri's visual history, spanning the work of Wolfsohn, Hart, Roy Hart Theatre up to the present day. Ivan's history is unique in the sense that he has, in over 50 years as a photographer and member of the company, charted and witnessed and recorded the company and over those 50 years. So he has very unusual photographs of members of the company from the 60s and members of the same members today. His book includes also an overview of all the important posters representing the shows of the company, and it's accompanied by a narrative. And this narrative then will narrate the history from Wolfsohn to the present day, as the visual history is also passing frame by frame. The virtual archives of the Roy Hart Centre will be an incredible resource for teachers, for artists, for students, no matter where they are in the world. And the fact is that the teachers from the Roy Hart Centre are now more and more spread out through the world. Australia, South America, North America, and of course throughout Europe. And not all these teachers can come and see the actual physical archives. The virtual archives will give them the opportunity to make research and to be able to contribute to those archives online. We would be delighted if you would like to contribute to our campaign to make the Roy Hart Centre archives digital and preserve them for future generations. Meanwhile, thank you for your contributions.